Greetings, geeks and nerds. I'm Leeds Universe and I'm White and Nerdy, and I'm back with another movie review of a sequel to a movie that I actually didn't like, but more on that in just a little bit here. But I have finally gotten the chance to actually sit down and actually see a film that a lot of people have mixed opinions about. Mostly the one opinion is that this movie sucks. So, I coming in here to say, do I think it sucks or am I optimistic? Hmm. Well, we'll find out because I'm gonna actually sit. Because after I sat down and watched it, I'm gonna come in here and review Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. This will be my review, retrospective, whatever you want to call it, upon Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So if nobody has seen Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom yet, but you want to see this review, just be forewarned that there will be spoilers. So again, if you haven't seen Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom yet, but you want to watch this review, just be forewarned one last time that will be spoilers. Otherwise, please enjoy my review of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Back in 2018, Aquaman was actually one of my favorite films that was shown at the time, being very different, but yet at the same time very unique in this film aspect. Aquaman was a pretty decent put together film, especially handled by horror director James Wan. James came back with the sequel of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which very many people, like I already said, claimed that it was bad or claimed that mostly it sucked. Do I think, do I really think so? Well, not so much. But I will admit one thing, but more on this later, the film is definitely flawed. Unfortunately, that it had to happen, that the film is flawed, yes, but I'm going to come in here and basically state what I actually did like about it and everything. As I seem to be basically the optimistic YouTuber here on YouTube. So, let's get this done and out of the way. Let's dive into the briny deep, summon our horse that we can ride upon, and our octopus friend. I am so shocked that they actually reference Aquaman's pet octopus from the comic books. Sure! Why not? Basically, they went into old school Aquaman here, which I'm not complaining. Very cool. Just wasn't it really expecting it at the time is all. So let's dive on into Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom and see if this film is really all that decent, but I'll explain more during my final thoughts and Funko Pop rating. So let's check out Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I love when the film opens up, you think it's an awesome scene with Aquaman, but no, he's instead telling the story to his baby son, Aquaman Jr., via Batman the Brave and the Bold.
Great, Grouper.
But we see that the King of Atlantis became a father to a very young son, Arthur Jr., who of course is mostly as his adventures that he's doing in life of fatherhood. All at the same time being the King of Atlantis, which he's not so happy about doing because he'd rather be out there kicking ass and taking name rather than be given orders. That isn't until Black Manta comes back and he actually finds something that's pretty fucking terrifying. He finds a scepter that basically lets him resurrect the dead. Now, the scepter that brings people back from the dead, or the trident that brings people back from the dead, is actually a reference into an Aquaman villain whose name escapes me right now, which I'm surprised that they used them. I had a friend back when I was growing up who was a pretty big Aquaman fan, and he had the comic books. So, of course, this was a pretty big surprise that they actually did use him in this. And I also was surprised that they brought back Black Manta, but I kind of understand because Black Manta is, Aquaman's most famous villain. I mean, you would think that they would use, other characters, but no, Aquaman is pretty much the biggest one. Also, I'm glad that they brought back Amber Heard in it. I mean, despite what happened with her and Johnny Depp, I'm still glad that they brought her back in here because, yeah, I wasn't willing to see the blonde woman that they hired and try to make her a redhead. I'm really glad that they still went with Amber Heard. Like I said, her chemistry with Jason Momoa is actually what made Aquaman so, watchable. And here you can tell that she's not in it very long. Like, they cut her scene down very short, which I'm pretty sad about, all things considering, because I like her chemistry with Aquaman, but Yeah, yeah, you gotta get what you can get here. But I am very excited that they did bring in, Black Manta into this, as well as a very unusual Aquaman villain and a very unusual Aquaman sidekick with the octopus. No joke, he actually is an Aquaman sidekick. But of course, the movie kind of does something very stereotypical. I mean, like most superhero movies would do. Even Spider-Man: No Way Home kind of did this. They have the villain teaming up with the hero, and that I kind of would knew what was gonna happen. I'm like, okay, okay, he's either gonna team up with Black Manta, which would have been cool, mind you, or he's gonna team up with Norm. And of course, the movie said, yep, he's gonna team up with Ocean Master. Yeah, Norm is in this, but he's held in the Desert Kingdom, which of course he's not getting any water, which means that he had no superpowers, which means that he gets the crap beat out of him every day. Which has led to Aquaman basically saving his brother and saying, listen, I know that you hate me, but I could really use your help in saving the kingdom right now, bro, so what do you say? Which, of course, the two of them had to actually end up saving Atlantis for the good of the kingdom and for the good of everybody before the world is entirely destroyed by, well, the undead. And while this film does take a while to get going, especially before the big action moment happens, it's not honestly as bad as you would think, even despite its flaws. And I honestly thought that they were going to have Norm basically be possessed by the Trident, but then they canceled out that idea when Aquaman saved his brother because, of course, Aquaman would save his brother. Which, very similar to the comic books or Injustice the video game, yes, Aquaman becomes a world ambassador, uniting the, human world with that of Atlantis. So, is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom actually really good? And yes, I skipped over a lot of it because mostly what happens in this film is there's nothing wrong with that if it's interesting, but it's kind of not. But Aquaman the Lost Kingdom, or Aquaman the Lost Kingdom, I don't think deserves the hate that it gets, honestly. Yes, it's not good, but it's not bad either. It's just a flawed movie, which honestly can sometimes happen to sequels, like what happened when I reviewed Shazam: Fury of the Gods. I said the same thing. Unfortunately, sometimes superhero sequels do fall into the same category, and Aquaman falls into the same category as with Shazam: Fury of the Gods. It's good, but it's very flawed. Like, they really could have, instead of just shoehorning in the Trident, they could have had this kind of be lit up to. Also, I think the idea of Aquaman teaming up with Black Manta and Norm both would have made for a much more interesting movie, truthfully, to have them go up against this big bad villain. And honestly, I wish that we could have seen more of Aquaman's son in this movie, as he kind of shoehorned in too. And with Arthur Jr., there's a lot of people that actually are fans of his. You also could have had him become Aqualad in this and had that been an inclusion, or show Aqualad in this movie. You didn't, but you could have done so. And also, I feel so bad with a lot of the actors and actresses, especially Amber Heard and Nicole Kidman, who people are kind of big fans of Nicole Kidman, and yet this movie kind of kicks her out of it like she's not even important. It's just so sad that such that this movie did have potential, and yet it falls short of that potential. But it's not bad in any regard. Yes, it takes a long time before it gets going. This movie doesn't officially get going until after an hour in. And if you're watching this, an hour can either go by quickly or it can feel like it's taking forever. And with me, when I watched Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, it took forever just to get going. I would actually kept watching it going, okay, something interesting's gonna happen. Nothing interesting happened yet. Okay, okay, gotta give the film credit. It's still going. Still going. Still going. Are we ever gonna get anywhere? There it is. Kind of territory. It just takes forever to really start to officially really kick it off the ground. But once it gets going, it's a pretty enjoyable ride. The villain of the movie is, like I said, interesting. But it would have been more interesting if instead of we get to his backstory towards the end, we should have had it at the beginning, kind of like a flashback scene type of deal thing. But unfortunately, that's not what we got. But Aquaman, like people would say, like this movie fucking sucks or this movie fucking blows. It's like it doesn't. It does have its flaws, that's for damn sure. It's really so flawed. But it's not absolute shit like a bunch of people said it is. But Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom, despite me hearing a bunch of people saying that this movie is complete garbage, is not. Like, I've heard some people say, like, this movie deserves to be put in a fucking dumpster fire. Not really, no. It's just a sad thing that such a good movie that superhero sequels, especially nowadays, are flawed. Except for Wonder Woman 84. That movie just completely blew itself out of the water just right when it started. I mean, it didn't even have potential to be good. It probably did, but then they just fucking forgot all about it. So Aquaman shares the same fate as Shazam Fury of the Gods. The fact that it could have been better, and the fact that it does actually get better towards the ending, which is kind of sad. So Aquaman doesn't deserve the hate that it gotten. I know I can hear a bunch of people already typing in the comments about how fucking wrong that I am and that I'm a dumbass and that I should not be reviewing movies on YouTube. So fuck off right now. It, pretty decent. Yeah, unfortunately they have the entire camera set on Jason Momoa and that most of the other casting characters are shoehorned out, but it's still a really good and really decent movie. So when it comes to my Funko Pop rating, I at first was gonna give it an Aquaman since it did right above my expectations. But then when I began to think about it, I decided that that kinda was not the Funko Pop rating that I was actually willing to go for. But in its own regard, because it looks different, yet it is unique at the same time, you would think that I'm gonna give it a Megazord. No. This movie actually is kind of spectacular and amazing, just as in its own right, but it does take a while before it officially starts really getting itself off the ground. And that's why my Funko Pop rating of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is going to be a Spider Girl, because it's amazing, it's spectacular, and kind of very much like Spider Girl, who kind of had to start, kind of a little bit rough at the beginning, but then got basically better towards the end. My Funko Pop rating is the same way with Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, is that it gets a Spider Girl, because it does have a rough time getting started, but it is worth it in the end once it starts going. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you can be notified every single time I make an upload. But I believe you never have right now to keep looking on, and be sure to tell me what you thought about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom down in the comment section down below, and I will pin where you can go and watch my old Aquaman review in the comment section down below. So, thank you guys so much. So much as always for watching. If you want to support this channel and help it grow, the best way to do so is by liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, hitting that bell icon so you're notified every single time I make an upload. And if you would like to follow me or talk to me about whatever I'm doing, you can click the link to where you can find me on Twitter and the link in the description down below. And what do you know? I actually did a short movie review for once. That's only because that Aquaman, the Lost Kingdom, didn't really give me much to talk about. I think the last time that I've done basically a short movie review is honestly when I did review Shazam Fury of the Gods. Ha. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Universe. I've got new to keep you on. And until next time, guys, as always, take care.